Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Medtalk, a conversation between doctors, for the doctors, and by the doctors. I'm Dr. Kirti Chadha, the Chief Scientific Officer at Metropolis Health Care Limited. I also head the CSR arm. Now, introducing the two special guests I have with me. Dr. Vivek Gupta, who is the COO of IHH Healthcare India and the CEO at Global Hospital Mumbai, and Dr. Vidhi Gupta, a brand new doctor from Lokmanya Tilak and Sion Hospital, Mumbai. Welcome, doctors. Thank you. Dr. Vivek, this is such an enchanting journey, if I can say, that you have, traveled over the last few decades. How did you reach this pinnacle of success? And if I were to ask you three key takeaways for our audience, the key three decisions or actions that you took which actually made you reach where you are, what would that be?
First of all, Dr. Kirti, thanks. Thanks for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to be here and talk to you as well as to the young doctors who would be watching our show. So for me, it's not been an easy way up here. And I still feel that there's a lot to do. There's a lot more to do in this field where I can do more for not just the healthcare industry, but also for the society as well. So three key decisions, as you asked me, I can think of three major things which changed my life. One was my decision to move from being a doctor to move into administration. That was way back in maybe 2000 with a lot of opposition from parents, family. I come from a family of doctors. So obviously my mother, being a doctor herself, she never accepted my decision. But yes, relented later on. She felt that let him do what he has to do. So I went ahead, did my hospital administration and moved on. Then after hospital administration, I did my jobs at Apollo, then Fortis. And then the second major decision of my life, where I felt I was going to do medical administration and maybe retire as some medical director somewhere. In Fortis, the life-changing decision was to move into business administration, to handle business. And that's what changed me completely. I started looking at healthcare from a completely different angle. That you have to make it viable, you have to make it feasible for everybody, and there are so many people reporting into you from different angles. So you have to see to it that the hospital should make money for everybody as well as survive and sustain, because you have to keep investing. Healthcare is a major capital guzzler. You have to invest a lot in this industry, and to make that, you have to see to it that it's a viable project. And the third major thing, which is very personal to me, is the decision when I'm here at Global Hospital Mumbai, a decision I took to do a transplant without money. Actually, I did not ask for anything, and this is something very you'll see it strange in corporate healthcare, but it was a head transplant which we did for the first time, and we gave a second life to a young girl, and that actually changed me, because I actually realized that you take any decision, if the patient is first and foremost, everything returns back. And I can tell you that has actually changed me in the way I deal with healthcare today and after that decision. So three major things. Yes, these are major things for me, and I think it has made me into a better person. And yes, lots to do, as I said, to move up in this career.
I think that's beautifully summarized. And I think we've all read that story of that little girl in the newspapers. And now we know the man behind that story and how he took that very courageous and tough decision at the right time. So if you listen, he took three important decisions, very tough decisions, very courageous decisions. But that's what doctors are all about, right? So moving on, Dr. Vidhi. You are a young doctor, if I can say, just born into this world of medicine, right? So what, according to you, are the three latest trends, if I may say, in your, generation that doctors must know of, and you would recommend that doctors quickly get their hands on these three trends to become successful?
Thank you, Dr. Vidhi. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm honored to be here, such influential people from all around the country. Now coming to the question, according to me, there are several trends that a young doctor should, inculcate in their lives. But firstly, I'll talk about medical research. So medical research is something that was initially or traditionally practiced by only postgraduates or professors. It was common in undergraduates in the foreign countries, but within last few years, I have seen Indian students, taking up research projects and coming to me for doubts and everything. So I would just like to say that research and clinical medicine go hand in hand, and medicine is such an evolving field. So to be a research literate is necessary to become a good physician and know what's best for the patient. Secondly, research has taught me a lot of the things apart from the traditional books. So it has taught me to take initiative, take accountability, and even perseverance for that matter. And actually, my journey into research was actually a very interesting story. So I started it when I met motivated individuals around the world when we were for an international quiz. So in a few Zoom meetings, we just decided and brainstormed the ideas we could do, globally for research. So we established an organization that could help students to take up basics of research and work towards it. Yes. And secondly, I think even if you don't publish researches, it's important to understand the processes of research, because in medicine, you have to be up to date with whatever is happening around you.
Right. So now you know why she's our MedEngage winner. So Dr. Vidhi has been our MedEngage winner. Last year, she was the champion of champions, and we can guess why, right? So research is something which our Honorable PM is also talking about now, and our medical colleagues from across the continents have been doing it since time immemorial. Somehow the Indian students have taken some time to warm up to it, but I'm happy that the idea is warming up. And I would actually agree to what she's saying. We run the medical outreach program MedEngage, and every year I see research students increasing by the dozen, and all of them are abroad before I know it. Some of them come back and they engage and they work on something else, and it's a wonderful thing. That's a very interesting thing that you brought out, Dr. Vidhi. Thank you.
Second thing I would like to talk about, and I think this is the topic of an essay for this year's MedEngage scholarship, and I was happy to read that. It's about digitization of the healthcare. So with advancement of technology and patients having access to these tools, technology is going to be virtually in any medical specialty you go to, and a physician would not be able to work without it. There have always been talks about it replacing doctor's job, but rather than it should be seen as a cooperation that amplifies the human's performance and massively improves patient healthcare. As it is rightly said that AI won't replace you, but a person using AI definitely will.
Yes, we've all seen how helpful digitization was during COVID to each one of us. So yes, thank you. So we all know that medical knowledge and expertise is very, very integral. Sometimes we give ourselves too much importance. Actually, it's not us who's important. It's the patient who's important. And you have no business to stand in front of a patient and do anything or even touch the patient if you're not good in your knowledge. So it goes without saying that a good doctor must have the best and the most updated medical knowledge. But sometimes a little extra is required. So Dr. Vivek, if you could help the audience understand that which are the 3 non-medical skills that actually you feel are very important for even doctors to make a difference.
Yeah, so there are tremendous things which I have learned in the last 20 years. But if you want me to summarize on those 3 major skills which I have to quote, I'll say the first skill which I see, which is very important for me, which helps me, is my focus. Whenever there is a challenge in front of me, I know I'm very focused. I will not get distracted by whatever excuses and reasons come to me. I know I will go for it. And that's something which I know which drives me all the time. Secondly, I can tell you another skill which helps me, which is my transparency and communication. It has helped me build teams around me. Because obviously running a healthcare and large hospitals is not just all about myself. It's all about the teams around you. And I can tell you that my transparency in my communication and being very fair and just has always helped me that teams come around me. And it has helped me build the environment in the hospital to say that we all will build it together. And lastly, as you rightly said, patient first. For me, this attitude has won me wherever I've gone. I take that center, that is the customer or the patient, as the center of all my decisions. And whenever I'm in a dilemma, whether the hospital centers or patient centers, I sometimes tilt to the patient because I realize that ultimately it will get to the hospital interest only. So true. It has always helped me.
So true. So to summarize, focus, communication, transparency, and patient first. Always patient first. So Dr. Vidhi, there are so many specialties today, so many avenues, so many career paths. Which one are you planning to choose? And whatever is your goal in mind, what is it that you think these learning platforms or particular skills which help you get there? Can you give a little insight to our young doctors?
I am choosing a very traditional pathway. That is, I'm gonna pursue a post-graduation in obstetrics and gynecology. But let me tell you, there are a myriad of options available, and I would, encourage aspiring doctors to actually go through a lot of options, research about them, and then choose what is the one for you. Coming to your second question, the 3 platforms that I am using, I would divide it into the aspects that I usually do in daily life. So first is Anki. Anki is a flashcard app. So it really changed my learning experience. So basically, it works on 2 scientific principles known as spaced repetition and active recall. So first one is that the information is provided at specific intervals so that it maximizes your memory process. And second is the active recall. So when a flashcard is put in front of you, they ask you a question. So you have to actively recall it from your mind and then give the answer rather than just passively reading information. So that is one app that have extremely helped, during my study process. Second is something that I use for research mainly, and it is called Research Rabbit. So it's like a literature mapping tool that helps researchers amazingly in their literature review. So you put a topic or you put a research that you are interested in, and then it suggests the relevant articles around it. You can sort according to citations around authors. It can put researches into chronological orders, and basically is just a second brain for the researchers. Thirdly, I use something known as UpToDate. I'm sure a lot of people would know that. It is a system that has evidence-based clinical information, latest clinical information. It is really helpful for healthcare providers, but medical students as well. Whenever I have a little bit doubt while reading something, or if I see a specific case in the ward, I quickly go through my phone and open the app and just revise all the topics that it has. It has very concise, well-organized, latest information that helps me revise at the last moment.
Wow. That's why they say always engage both, the young and the old, and that teaches you a lot. So apart from all the entertainment and exciting, fun apps that you all have, please don't forget to download these 3 apps that our young doctor told us, Anki, Research Rabbit, and UpToDate. So thank you so much for that pearls of knowledge, right, Dr. Vivek?
Yes, we never had them during our time.
I know. So to end the conversation, I would like Dr. Vivek to share with the audience, how does one become a CEO? I mean, how did he even get there? And is there a secret or is there a recipe?
So no secret, everybody can do that. If there is that aspiration to do something well in life, as well as that perseverance that I will never accept defeat. I think everybody anywhere in any industry, just not healthcare, across can do it. It's that inner strength which tells you that I'm not going to stop ever. And that keeps me going. No special secret. All of us can do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thanks,
Vivek
Dr.
and Dr. Vidhi. And more importantly, our viewers for watching. So don't forget to tune in every 2nd and 4th Friday of the month to watch the next episode of Medtalk.